Hello everyone, welcome to a very interesting stream. Today we are going to watch Kupo, which I'm assuming is an online version of KupoCon, which is a Final Fantasy convention for those of you that might not be aware. Just going to start in 13 minutes. Got the tab there. Hold on. Yeah. And it'll start here soon. So until then, what can I play without getting a claim? Hmm. Oh, I know. Let's look at PS5 prices. $860. It is actually a bit better than it used to be. Yeah, it's still going for anywhere between 700 and 1,000. Please do not buy a scalped PS5. That's almost worth it. $650. Final Fantasy is what comes up. Yeah.
You all know the target. Shiva's dominant. And only the dominant.
How do we even know the girl will be among us?
Our kind do not question orders, we follow them.
Sergeant, let's summon their icon.
Icon? That thing's a bloody mountain!
Our foe will not relinquish their mother crystal easily. This will be a bitter fight.
You should not be out of doors. We have discussed this. Come, Joshua. Your father will be expecting us.
I am Joshua's shield.
Kind of looks like Hope from 13, doesn't it?
What do you mean you refuse? Did you not pledge your sword to our cause?
What does it matter? It was the Dalnex who drove back the Crusaders in the Battle of the Twin Realms, was it not?
Without the blessing of the Mother Crystal, we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight.
So, it's Sentinel Dragoons. Imperial Vipers. Do they really mean to invade?
By the way, how much did she views this stream?
It's the Archduke's son.
Phoenix.
Joshua! Stop this!
Second life on a fire. That's impossible. Of the crystals. Has shaped our history. For long enough. I'll kill you. If it's the last thing I do.
PlayStation.
So now we can close. The live video should start soon and you'll be when the event has gone. Yes, sir. There we go. It's the final countdown. Alright. Everybody get comfy and get your snacks. I just got a Facebook notification. Yeah. It says, yeah. Okay. It's still live, right? Come on. There it goes. So, yeah, I know. One moment, please. There's any people watching. Observe Wave 2. Point this fulcrum.
Hello, happy Sunday, how are you? I didn't feel like holding the episode for very long. I thought we'd get rocking nice and early. So I'm sure people will join us as we get going. I think I'll be here for about an hour today, maybe a little less. It's certainly not as jam-packed as the episode that came before it in, what was 20 weeks ago, so it's like the beginning of the year. Literally the beginning of the year. Anyway, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I hope you are well. I see Nikita telling me my sound is good. Thank you. That was going to be my next question. Good to see so many people in the chat today. How are you?
Hello, Xavier.
I know that this COVID thing seems to go on and on and on, but hopefully some of the things I'm going to talk about today are going to give you at least a brief look at what we're hoping to do in the future. As I said, I shouldn't be here too long today. I have, a good chunk of updates, but not crazy amounts. I'm also very aware that I have not put Pixel the cat in a room and locked the door, so we may get a visitor during the stream, which may completely side rail us. We may get derailed with the cat halfway through, but such is life. As I said, great to see so many people in the chat, so many familiar names who I'm very much looking forward to seeing in the months ahead. So we're going to be talking Tripom, we're going to be talking the pop-up shop in London, we're also going to be talking about the pop-up shop that we're planning in North America, we're going to talk about our free company, we're going to talk about the event that we're doing in London during the pop-up, we're going to talk about new badge systems, we're going to talk about the anniversary tour for 15, online and in physical, we're going to look at some of the new products that we're working on, we're going to talk about a new program that we're running and a bunch of other little things that didn't really need their own slides, they're just all thrown on one. So we have quite a bit that I want to talk about today, but it should be fairly relaxed. I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm collected, so we'll take it nice and easy. Okay, let's rock on. There's no point in delaying. We've got quite a bit to go over. I am going to take my time. I want to make sure that I don't miss anything in particular, but we should be good. So we will start with Tripom. So we've already released 5.0, which saw the introduction of about 35 new cards. I forget the exact number, but there was a bunch of new cards. And we also saw the introduction of a new Ultima box, and you guys seem to love it, and I'm glad you love it. I love it. Like anyone who's received it, you'll also probably note that we're using like adhesive stickers now, but they completely peel off and they leave no damage, and then you can reuse the box. Little things that make me happy. But the box is beautiful. It's a heavier cardboard. You can totally reuse it. We know that there's a lot of you out there with your spares and stuff. I'll be talking about that shortly. But I know that a lot of you use them for storing your spares, so it's great for that too. So 5.0 was a big success, huge amount of cards in the wild, which is wonderful. I will do my best to read the chat as we go along here. You're all the way over on a different monitor. And so we're very pleased with how it's gone. So 5.1 is just around the corner. It will release on September 17th. Why is it releasing mid-month? Well, it's because of the pop-up shop that we're hosting in London. It just made sense to launch it that weekend. It's a bit of hype, a bit of excitement. So if you are a patron, September 1st, we're still in the 5.0 range, but once we get to October 1st, we move into 5.1. So we have at least 15 new cards released December, or maybe mid-December for the release of 5.2. And then 5.3 will release before Retropom in London, which is scheduled for like February 5th, I want to say. I'm terrible with remembering dates. COVID has destroyed my ability to remember any dates of anything, but yes, so be it. So, as I said, we're going to hear specifically to talk about the introduction of 5.1. Before I get to that, those of you who watched our Integrate event, if you have not already done so, you can find it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/KupoCon. We did have a round table of sorts with a very large chunk of the cast from Integrate/Intermission. There's a lot of slashing in this. It was a very enjoyable cast, very much enjoyed it. And it was great to be able to talk about the DLC before playing it. I hope you've had a chance to play the DLC. Perhaps you can't get your hands on a PS5. And I feel that, and it took me a long time to get mine. So I do hope you get the chance to play the DLC. It's very good, and Integrate is a huge improvement on the original release of the remake. So do check it out. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So we already released a kind of some 5.01 updates already. So we released the materia cards, which you can see here on your screen. These were sold in a set during the Integrate event. We do have a few sets left, but once those sets are gone, we won't be packing any more. The remaining cards are just going to be put into boosters. So going forward from one, you're probably going to see these materia pop up, but they're going to be rare, and it is going to be a one-time thing. So once the several thousand of each card that we have been distributed, probably won't be any more. So you want to grab those while you can. If you were smart and you grabbed a pack during the Integrate event, congrats. They are still in the store for patrons, and I'm not sure if they'll still be there by the time we do our next public opening. It'll be some time now, so you might be lucky. So let's also the two other cards you see here, that's Odin and Ifrit. They were released in 5.0 as well. Hopefully you've had a chance to grab those limits. So let's actually take a look at 5.1. Usually we wait till a bit further in the episode, but what the hey, let's keep things moving. If you are just joining us, this is KupoCast. I should have introduced myself. My name is Alex. I'm the lead organizer of KupoCon. If you have no idea what Tripom is, it's basically our version of a little game called Triple Triad from Final Fantasy VIII. And I'm about to show to you 5.1. So here it is. So as I said, Tripom 5.1 will be releasing in the middle of September, just before the pop-up event, which I'll be talking about in just a moment. But let's just take a second to look at these amazing cards. Leviathan is the next limit break to be introduced, which is really exciting. I know a lot of people have been excited about Ard, but be happy to see his face. So who else have we got? We've got Realm from 6, right? Merilith, which is one of the 4 fiends. As you know, we've already introduced one of the 4 fiends already. This would be the second. We've got Andrea from the remake, and then we've actually introduced a new Moogle, which is based on the Ivalice design. So I'm hoping you'll like that one. I love the Logos and Ormi cards. I think they're great. I love how Ormi takes up practically the whole card, which is very accurate of his character. Propagator, which you'll recognize from 8, which is exciting. You may have an idea of what we might be doing with those just by looking at the card. There's Yule from the 3rd. Yes, finally the introduction of our location cards, which I teased in the last episode earlier this year. Now, the location cards are something that we've been working on for a while. It's going to take us some time to release all of the cards, but we are going to be listing them separately, so when you see them in the card listings, they won't be part of the main set. We're actually keeping the locations separate. I just think from a display purpose it will look nicer, and I think it would be a bit weird to just have all characters and then suddenly out of nowhere a location. So that's just my OCD kicking in. But these are the first 5 locations that we are revealing. You can learn more about the artists who are involved with these beautiful cards, including the new wonderful location cards. You can find the artist information over on our website. That was actually updated today, so please do go check that out. And usually our artists will pop up tweets announcing their involvement, and we usually share that. So do check out the artists there. They've done some incredible work, and it's always really exciting to work with such talented individuals. So we do have Midgar, which was released during the Integrate event, and then Balam Garden, which is something that we showed off in the last episode, but now we're showing off Moonflow and Hammerhead and Ishgard, and there are many, many more beautiful landscapes that we'll be sharing with you in the months ahead. So those are the cards that we're releasing for 5.1. Hopefully these are, an excite for you. I know that there's quite a bit of interest in the the location cards being turned into prints. It's not on our immediate timeline, but I think that some of these will probably make it to Tripom folders and to mats in the very near future. They're just too damn good not to. One of the things I did mention in the earlier slide there was about the release of at least 15 cards. We may release a few more before we get to September. Right now, this is what our plan is, but if the support on our Patreon continues in the direction that it has been and continues to grow, then we'll have the funds to push some more cards out. We have some great other designs on standby. In fact, we've got dozens, so it's a kind of wait and see thing. So that's Tripom. I have nothing further to share on Tripom at this point, apart from the only thing is usually we would introduce foils of the limit breaks just gone, so in this case Odin and Ifrit, but we've decided we're actually going to hold until 5.2, which is a little bit unusual for us, but that's what we've decided to do. However, if the support on Patreon is there and you guys really want the foils to arrive for 5.1, I'll see if we can push them through a little bit quicker. So hopefully you're satisfied with the location to show you. And the great thing about the 50 locations that we've already commissioned is that they are from across the entire series. So you'll see lots of locations that you may be familiar with, some perhaps not, and some where we've had to get really creative, right? Like, 1 through 6. 6 maybe a little bit easier, but like 1 through 3, very difficult to recreate it. So we've had to, be quite creative, use our imagination on what we think it would look like in a 3D setting. So let's move on and talk about the pop-up shop and the drop-in center that we're planning for London. So if this is brand new information to you, we are planning a pop-up shop in London, England. It is our first kind of sway towards physical events again. Now, as you know, COVID is still very much an issue. We can't ignore it, we can't avoid it, but we mustn't live in fear of it for the rest of our lives. We also can't just wait. We have to start moving forward. So we must begin to start making plans for the transition back to physical events, because if we don't, this is the future. So even if COVID takes a turn and everything goes, excuse the phrase, tits up, then it's okay. No one's going to lose anything. But if we leave it and we do nothing at all, then when the time comes, we'll have nothing to present to you. So that's not an option for us. So before we transition back to big physical events, we want to try these smaller, more socially distanced opportunities. And so this is where the pop-up shop comes into it. So it will be hosted in London at the Novotel London West. For those of you who are familiar with KupoCon, you will know that that is the location where we hosted Pomex in 2019, which was the largest KupoCon we've ever hosted. It's a beautiful venue.